German Chancellor Angela Merkel is on a two-day visit in Tokyo, where she met with the Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. The two leaders pledged to defend free trade in the face of rising protectionism. They also discussed the impact of the UK's withdrawal from the European Union. Japan is Germany's second largest trading partner in the region after China. Trade volumes between the two countries are close to $50 billion annually. On Friday, Japan and the EU launched a landmark agreement that creates the world's largest free trade area. It removes nearly all tariffs and includes a commitment to the Paris Climate Agreement. The accord is the biggest bilateral trade deal ever signed. It covers more than 630 million people and nearly one-third of the world's economy. Merkel and Abe also discussed how their countries can work together to minimise the impact of Brexit on the global economy and urged the UK to avoid a no-deal Brexit.
To minimize the negative impact on Japanese companies and the global economy, I expect the Brexit process to be carried out in a predictable manner and with legal stability. I told Chancellor Merkel that we strongly expect the EU and the UK to avoid a no-deal Brexit.
We don't want to reopen the withdrawal agreement. This is not on the agenda. But we have an agreement for the future relationship between Britain and the EU. And in this future relationship agreement, we can of course settle questions that are still being discussed, such as the question we have on the management of the border between Northern Ireland, which belongs to Britain, and the Republic of Ireland, which is a member of the European Union.
Let's hear now from Seijiro Takeshita. He's Dean at the School of Management and Information of the University of Shizuoka. And he says both Germany and Japan hold similar roles when it comes to trade wars and Brexit.
Well, I think both parties hold a very important role. In fact, their situation is quite similar. Germany is arch rival of Japan in many issues, for example, like automobiles, machinery, precision machinery, what have you. Both thrives on export. And when we're getting this regression into conservatism or this trade wars, this protectionism, that is being swirled very much by Mr. Trump, certainly the macro conditions are not good. So to reaffirm the coalition between these two countries, especially in areas like information and AI, is very, very, I think, important, especially in the wake of Brexit, when we're seeing a lot of ambiguity. To have a good assurance, good trade relationship that will continue with EU is extremely positive. As you just reported, as of February the 1st, we have kicked off this free trade initiatives, and it's basically fighting against the negative tide that we're seeing. So I think it's a very important move to basically put things back in normal by fostering a lot of free trade movements. For example, there's going to be a lot of much more both in variety and as well as in prices. That will be very favorable for the Japanese public on European cheese or wine, what have you. We're both trading what we're good at, and we can emphasize, and obviously that would lead to a lot of securing of jobs in EU as well as in Japan. So it is very much of a win-win situation. And also, particularly in areas, for example, like in information, Japan and Germany, unfortunately, we're behind in reaffirming the security of these issues. So it is about time that they're trying to form some form of coalition to make sure that they're not behind the United States and China in these areas.